For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure to select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. Episode 106, 107, what are we on here?
We're solid.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, buddy.
Starting strong. Do I need to check Do I need to check what episode we're on?
I think it's 106, but
I think that's right.
Okay.
This is all
Would
speculation.
you wager your life on it?
No.
yeah, I would.
Really?
I won't look it up then.
Okay.
I've lived a full life, so I'll throw down anytime.
You're good? You're done?
Well, for the right bet. I did something that almost ended my life today, I guess. I did something. If you look at the front of a grill, like there's this little hole in it.
Talking about like a grill of a car?
No, sorry.
Like a grill on my teeth?
Exactly. A Little John style grill. But there's a little hole there where you can put a match to light the gas if it's a gas grill. I did that. My igniter has burnt out, whatever. So I've been lighting it like that. And I'd light a match. I put it on the stick and I put it in there. And I couldn't get it. I guess I didn't get it lit. Or my match burnt out and the gas was still going and the grill was closed. And so then I stuck the second one in and it was like, boom. And
Wow.
like burnt hair off my arm like crazy. My wife said it looked insane. She was amazed that I didn't get hurt. And there like the top to the grill kind of like flopped open. I was like, wow.
That reminds me,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. That reminds me of in college. You know, you ever heard of like? Is it called Everclear? What is it called? The high alcohol? Yeah,
grain alcohol.
Right. So we had that making punch or whatever for a party. We finished a bottle, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna light the remains on fire." So I took a lighter, and I just wanted to light the drips as it came out, but there was all the vapor was still all up in the bottle, and it was like a flamethrower. Yeah. And if I had been facing myself, it would have just like burst me into flames. So I was aiming at a table, and it lit the table.
There's
on
so
fire.
many funny videos online of people like putting Everclear in their mouth and they like spit it up. Remember like Triple H used to do that with water?
Right.
And then they would go to light it and they just burn their faces off because of that kind of stuff.
Right. So I was like an idiot.
Not just the
and
droplets.
almost burnt my face off. Just like Kyle almost burnt his face off today.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
A lot of sound clips tonight.
Yeah,
We got a lot.
happening. It's a lot happening.
Some would say too much, but
Some
but
would
not,
say
but
that.
not me. But not me.
Right.
Good. It better not be you.
No,
Oh, okay.
So he's like,
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Ointment, Kyle El Capitan, and the Gruesome Twosome present Submersion.
just realized since the Gruesome Twosome's inception that I'm now the first name mentioned during the opening credits.
wow.
It's pretty cool.
You got to get a new nickname.
I'm honored. I need a new nickname?
I mean, I think you're the only one who hasn't. Oh no, I guess Kyle, you
So I
haven't
gotta
changed yet.
record that intro again. I mean, man.
I think we should
he's getting a new
re-record
nickname-
it every episode.
Oh, okay, great.
Hey guys, every time he has to re-record it though, that's a good thing for the you know what I mean? Sponsors.
Oh yeah,
What?
exactly.
Oh,
Good Lord.
Somehow to monetize it, I'm sure.
yeah. Okay.
Powered by Monster Energy Drink.
Kyle, the monster.
Yeah. Well, my name is Kyle, and
Kyle, you love
Kyle's a
Monster
prone.
Energy, so your name could just be Kyle Monster Lover.
Yeah.
Kyle Monster Lover.
Yeah.
Kyle
Monster
Drywall
Man?
Smasher.
Yeah, I like that. That'd be cool.
I like Monster Man.
Speaking of monsters,
Monster Man.
Good transition.
before we have to dive the sub even further, we return with, is this week 2 already of Mega
Week
Monster Movie Month?
Yes, it is.
So last week we watched Deep Shock, which told the tale of some massive electric eels, which were kind of disappointing actually in size. Wasn't what I was thinking we were going to get, but tonight, but tonight we got something I think that lived up to the hype in terms of size and scale. We watched It Came From Beneath the Sea from 1955.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all about this, and I think Zach, you had mentioned, Twosome, you had mentioned that you were excited for this whole movie month because you're a monster movie type person. You were kind of like the driving force of Godzilla, and I didn't even realize just how kind of, I don't want to say this is necessarily a classic film, but how much of a classic monster film this is.
I think that's the way to describe it, though. It is what it is, right? There's a 1950s B-movie monster film. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, right? It would be like a double feature.
It's
I love this
blessedly
kind
short.
of stuff.
So good.
Yeah, this was the perfect length. So this was double, because it did double feature. And Jamie, you might have the other movie that it goes with.
Yes, I do.
Not going to spoil it.
I won't spoil it, but I could even have gone shorter, to be honest with you. In fact, if anything, if we could find a movie that's only 20 minutes long, I'd be quite happy with that.
I think they call that a show. TV episode.
TV show, that's true. Yeah. Half-hour sitcom on a submarine. $1 million idea.
That is $1 million idea.
Maybe $1 billion idea.
Well, what's the name of it? What's that perfect sitcom-y name? Subs Company?
See, it seems like a little, like it seems like you're borrowing a little bit from another show.
I am.
So I'm not sure it would fly necessarily.
The Big Bang Sub Theory.
The Big Bang sub. Just
not going to work for multiple reasons.
What about 2.5 subs?
It's Never Sunny in a Sub.
All of these things seem like we could maybe go back to the drawing board.
The substance.
Still creativity. I think we're lacking a little bit here.
I love how we're talking over Jamie with really, really lame titles.
I don't even know what it would be though. It would be like, I think you'd almost have to go like Down Periscope is a good name for a submarine sitcom, but it's already a name of a movie. And I feel like it's happened a couple times. Up Periscope was an action film, but there's another one going Down Below or something like that.
What about like
Going Under with Bill Pullman?
Yeah, Going Under. That's the one I was thinking of. Going Under is another name that you could see being a sitcom, but is in fact the name of a movie.
maybe like Trouble Down Below or something like that?
Troubled Waters. Yeah.
Next week on Troubled Waters, you'll never believe what the cast gets in.
Two broke subs.
Oh my gosh.
Nice. Good.
There we go.
See, I feel like we're already at smash cut time.
Big Trouble and Little Sub.
Two guys, a girl, and a sub place.
Oh my God, I can't believe that was an actual title of a show. All right. So
What about Tub Sub?
Tub Sub. Is that one where the submarine is a bathtub?
Sure, yeah.
That one kind of gives me
PTSD?
a little bit.
I know why.
It was meant to.
I know
It was
why.
meant to.
Oh, I'm actually understanding it now too.
There you go.
And now we're all thinking of it. All right. It Came From Beneath the Sea, starring our favorite actors. Everyone knows. But no, this is a B movie, so really not too many people who are super well known is in it.
Are you going to list them off, or are you just going to go with that?
I know, I'm going to keep on talking. No, Kenneth Toby plays Commander Pete Matthews. Wait, you want someone else to do it?
Let Kyle pronounce the next one.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I do not have it in front of me, so I do apologize. You're going to have to...
All right.
So Donald Curtis, he played John Carter. I know, Kyle, you're going to struggle with the pronunciations of those names.
Donald Curtis.
Yep, John Carter. Tough.
Now, this is interesting, right? Because they brought John Carter's character back in a space sci-fi film where he is actually an action star.
Right.
Damn, like biggest
John Carter
movie
of
bust
Mars.
of all time.
Is it still the biggest movie
Kitsch.
bust?
I think so.
I saw that in theaters. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I feel like
All
I
right.
feel like I enjoyed it more. All right, take a crack
submarines,
at
though.
our.
I don't think.
You talking about the leading lady here?
Yeah, take a crack at that female lead.
Faith Domergue.
Yeah,
That'll probably be pretty good. Domergue?
that's it.
Domergue?
Dang.
Demargo?
Is that how it is?
I don't know. But she played
I would have
Professor
guessed like
Leslie
Domergue
Jones.
or something like that.
No,
Demarge.
guys. The D is silent. It's Omerger.
Oh, aubergine, like an eggplant or whatever.
Yeah.
All
We've
right,
been going for like over 10 minutes. We haven't even done anything. I don't know what's going on right
right.
now, but
it's
Oh,
directed,
it's all
right.
it's
I'm
directed by
liking it.
someone. I mean, one important name associated with this that will give an image directly into people's minds is Ray Harryhausen. Did
Damn.
the animations for this, and he is very famous, very influential stop motion animation guy, a special effects guy who kind of didn't get his due when he was actually in doing the movies, but after his retirement and stuff like that, has won numerous awards and kind of like lifetime achievement stuff. And many major filmmakers and actors and stuff have talked about the influence of his films on them due to like him bringing these kind of crazy images and special effects to life and through his special effects.
He definitely has that legacy now. Like it's remarkable. And you look up some of these pictures and stuff, it's just crazy what they were doing 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah. So shall we get into it?
Yes.
All right.
I think we should.
Take it away.
All right, so I'm just going to start off with a sound clip, and this is exactly what's going on.
From her beginnings on a Navy drawing board, through the months of secret field experiments out in a western desert, then through the desperate search for new metals with properties she needed, she was designed to be man's greatest weapon of the seas, the atom-powered submarine. Her engines were to be a miracle of speed and power. Her sides strong enough to withstand any blow, her armament and firepower of greater force than the worst enemy she might encounter. The mind of man had thought of everything, except that which was beyond his comprehension.
Oh, my
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that might be one of the best openings to a movie featuring a submarine we've seen yet.
Yeah, I'm not even half-mast over here. Like I got captain. I'm a cap. You may as well salute me because I'm a captain over here. If you know what I mean.
Wow.
Yeah, it's happening.
That's out of control. So,
We've
we've
does anyone
got
have
this
cold water?
brand
What's going on?
spanking new awesome weapon ready to... You got cold water? What?
Gotta hose me down.
Does that work?
I think that's what they say.
You're supposed to do that with dogs, right? When they're humping, you just spray them with cold water.
What?
You've not heard of that. Come on. That's a thing.
That's a thing?
Like, oh, the dogs are at it again. Get the hose, right? They say that and stuff. And you spray them with cold water. I'm not making this up.
No, he's not.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, right.
This is if you're listening right now, debate this on our Reddit, right? That's subreddit Mackie Studios. Join the discussion.
If two dogs are going at it, to break it up, do you spray them with cold water?
This is what our subreddit's gonna turn into.
Yeah. These kinds of things.
Interesting.
That's fine. Talk about it. I want to know. Somebody make a thread for it.
You have
Zach.
to talk about it somewhere.
All right. Well, anyways, we're again 15 minutes in and haven't said anything. But the
We got a
submarine,
really good question posed to our listeners. So.
right? But so we're talking about submarines. All about submarines. We're loving submarines. Atomic age submarines. And we're on a submarine immediately. It's out doing maneuvers in the Pacific Ocean. We got our commander, Pete Matthews. He's looking hot in his Navy Browns, whatever. And he's got like his XO, who's kind of like a nerd alert, like whatever. And they're kind of hanging out and they're having a grand old time, just being on the sea. And then all of a sudden, what's that on the sonar? They start seeing an object there and it's pretty crazy looking. It's huge. It's coming fast at them. And they're like, what is this? It must be a mistake. But the sonar guy's like, no mistake. That's for real. And they're like, whoa. And all of a sudden, this giant thing comes and just like stops them in their tracks. Like they're trying to go backwards, forwards, and they're stuck. And they're also getting like pings on the Geiger counter. Like it's super radioactive. So they're like, everyone's worried. Things are going
Well, first
crazy.
they think because this is a nuclear submarine, they're like, oh my God, like the reactor is like leaking radiation. We're all going to die. And the tech is like, that's not coming from me, man. That's coming from outside this gosh darn sub.
Right. And then like another person's like, I just got married. I can't have radioactive stuff around me. I want to have babies. And they're like, don't worry about it, bro.
But don't worry, in the end credits, they do say he was never able to have children after the radioactivity.
Yeah, rest assured.
Yeah.
And so then they're kind of like doing a whole bunch of stuff, trying to free themselves from the whatever they're caught on. And eventually they do it. They just kind of do something where they are able to get free and rise back up to the surface. And when they send some people out to check on it, they're like, be careful about the radiation. And the people come back and they're like, yeah, there's like a giant barrel or something, but it looks like it's tissue, like caught up in our propeller. We're not going to be able to do much with that anymore, and we can't free it because it's crazy radioactive. And so the captain's like, okay, call it in. We're heading back to Pearl Harbor because something just happened and we got to take care of business right now.
Now, I need to interject here and say the picture of them showing the sub back at Pearl Harbor, I loved it. You guys remember that? It was like all nice and vibrant and orange. Looked beautiful.
No, I don't.
You guys don't remember that?
I don't either at all.
I paused the movie to embrace the beauty that was that scene. Transition. And it directly affected my final score of the movie.
Wow. Yeah,
Really?
Yep.
So anyways, they have this giant thing and they basically don't know what to do with it. It looks like tissue. They don't know what's going on. So they call in a couple of experts. They got John Carter from Harvard, and he's like the man. And then they also have this lady, Leslie Joyce, Professor Leslie Joyce, and she's there as well. And she's kind of like an up and comer. She's like kind of hot stuff in multiple ways. And they're all looking at this thing and they're like, we don't know what this is. And I do want to interject here just a little bit from the point of view of a scientist who works in a field that involves organisms of sorts. I don't want to go into too many details, but it's actually pretty funny just how easily this would have been solved nowadays. Like it would have been like, basically, 24 hours later, I would have been like, it's an octopus.
I was going to say, they spent 2 weeks, I think, on it, right?
Yeah, they spent forever. And just imagining all the different tests and stuff they had to do back then before they really were able to do intensive like genomic testing on this kind of stuff, and before they had any reference genomes for any organisms. It is kind of amazing to think like they were probably taking tissue samples, comparing tissue samples to known tissue samples, like all kinds of stuff, and getting kind of characteristics of what they were looking at to eventually be like, aha. Because, yeah, they spend this whole lot of time. And Leslie Joyce in particular is kind of like, she's really proven herself. Everyone's like, this lady is not just looks, like she's banging, obviously. And the submarine captain's like, I'm into it. I'm really into it, actually. I'm insisting you stick around. That's kind of what he's saying.
Well, didn't he at first try to get her kicked out of here? Isn't there somebody better we can get on this?
Well, no, I think he was just skeptical because he looked over and she's like so beautiful, and he's like, "Come on." And John Carter's like, "You don't understand. She's the best." And then when he goes talk, like the sparks are flying, the chemistry's really there, and then he's like, "Stick around. Like we insist that you stay. The Navy insists that you stay." And
from our beginnings on a Navy drone.
Nice. And they. And all of this is also like kind of funny just from the point of view of like, I don't want to say feminism, like women, like just the depiction of women in movies and stuff like that, because they just have to keep on hammering home that she's like a different breed of woman. Oh, you don't know this breed of woman. She's like taking this thing into her own hands. And you're like, cool, Leslie Joyce. And so, yeah, she sticks around. She kind of like makes the final conclusion. And they're like, drum roll, please. Brrr. It is an octopus. Just really giant, though. And everyone's like...
They make sure to bring in all these bigwigs from the Navy. And everybody's like, you've been working 2 weeks to tell us it's a giant octopus?
Yeah, but they explain, they go into pretty intense details. They're like, no, you don't understand. The hydrogen bomb. And they're like, well, everyone's blaming the hydrogen bomb for everything. Godzillas, Scillas, other illas, all kinds of illas. And now you're blaming you're blaming this octopus on us too? Like, get out of here. But they're like, no, you don't understand. We bomb this island. It makes, like, this octopus who lives in this big old trench totally radioactive. Fish can smell it a mile away. And they're like, you're not eating us because you're like a radioactive piece of shit. And the octopus is like, God damn it. So it has to swim out of its trench and start eating things that can't sense that it's radioactive. It's all very scientific. Don't even worry about it.
It is.
And that includes attacking submarines, seals, obviously, big old mammals that it wants to eat, like toss them into a mouth, like a popcorn or something.
They're like, no, nom. A
Good
penguin,
one.
Zach.
Yeah,
Hey.
exactly.
Like
yeah,
it's nothing.
Hey, watch that penguin talk.
right.
Yeah, dude.
I love
You
penguins.
didn't see that? It's in the deleted scene where he's choking out a penguin with his tentacle.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
So,
So they were also showing this in not the penguins, but they were showing the radioactivity in the testing
like an
lab.
example,
And
yeah.
they're-
They had an octopus.
Yeah, and they're
there.
like, look, this octopus would normally just snag all these fish, but it looked really lackadaisical. Like it easily could have grabbed any of those fish.
Well, but that was the point. That was the point, Kyle. Kyle, it's science. The octopus was radioactive, so the fish were able to avoid it. That was the point.
They weren't moving fast. He wasn't moving fast.
Kyle,
But they were able to avoid it. That was the point.
I know.
Kyle, there's this
Science.
class in high school that kids take that's called just science class. You learn
Yeah.
this stuff then.
Right.
Seriously.
That's where I learned all of it. And so, anyways, the Navy's like,
Check my report card.
the Navy's like, cool, bros. And is like, where'd you get these jokesters? Get them out of here. So, like, okay, we put your papers in, John Carter from Mars and Leslie Joyce, like, get out of here. And, but also the submarine captain who's like, Professor Joyce, like, I kind of want to take you on a date. Is like, okay, I'll send you off on a, with like a big dinner or whatever. Even though there's like a little bit of, I can't tell if it's sexual chemistry or if it's supposed to be like mentor-mentee energy between them. But like Leslie and John Carter are talking about a trip they're going to take to Egypt to settle a certain scientific dispute and blah, blah, blah. And so it seems like they're destined to be together. And the submarine captain's kind of like disappointed in that prospect. Like, I guess I'm just not like good enough for this science lady who's like super smart. Needs like John Carter from Harvard over there, like nerd alert with his glasses.
Now, Jamie,
to fulfill him.
I have to interject here.
What's that?
Did you get a feel of Mr. Limpet kind of here? That little triangle weird thing they had going on?
No.
Oh, man.
So now I did.
Oh, sorry. Yes. And
Because
Know what I'm
Carter
saying?
was just like, you know what, man? I'd rather be swimming around. I'd rather be a fish.
See, I thought at the end of this movie
actually,
he
you
would
know what?
turn into a
Probably, yeah.
fish.
That's a good point because I think John Carter probably would have preferred to be a fish. Mm-hmm. You know what? When he was looking at that octopus, there was a little twinkle in his eye.
Yeah. A little something, something.
Oh, he was into it.
He walked in there and this was playing.
When he's looking at the
Wow.
octopus. So, anyways, they go out to dinner and it's just Professor Joyce and John Carter for a little bit, and she seems pretty disappointed. She's like, the submarine captain didn't even show up. That's lame, and it's nothing more than that. I just find it lame. Whatever. And John Carter's like, okay, take your mind off of it. Let's go dance. And she's like, no, thank you. All of a sudden, the submarine captain shows up, and he's like, let's go dance. And she's like, you can't tell me what to do. And he's like, what is this new breed of women? My God. And John Carter's like, come on, deal with it. Like, just figure out what she wants to eat. Don't just order a T-bone steak. Like, that's ridiculous. Come on. She's like, I want a lobster. Like, and John Carter's like, obviously, come on.
Now,
And
can you imagine anytime if I ever went out to dinner with my wife and I just was like, you're going to eat this, she'd be like, the hell I am.
yeah, especially like a
what are you
T-bone
doing?
steak. I'd be
I
like,
think it's-
you're having
Yeah.
a T-bone steak tonight. She'd be
I
like,
think
what?
I think it's funny that mentality
Crazy.
of like some guys would order food for others. Is that really funny of its episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Dennis does that? Did you guys ever see that one?
Probably.
When he's
I think
ordering
so,
food,
yeah.
but that's when they have Ben, what's his name? Yeah. Oh, what's his name? Psycho Pete. No, it's not Psycho Pete. It's Schmitty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Schmitty's there. And he's like, no, you guys aren't. He's like, you're not ordering what I want. Off topic. Keep going.
That
No,
was
it's
off
okay.
topic.
My grandfather always used to order food for my grandma. I think my grandma would at least pick what she wanted, but my grandfather would be the one to order it.
Well, that's good. That's nice. But he was just like, you're getting a T-bone steak. And she's like, hell no. He's like, well, do you like lobster? And she's like, yeah, obviously. Everyone loves lobster. Come on, unless you're allergic to it. And so then anyways, they go out to dance and they go out on the balcony. And Kyle, did you pull this clip from me?
Oh, I got the clip right.
Yeah, play the clip.
It's so balmy here. Is it always like this?
Yes.
Don't you miss the rain?
No.
I like the winter. And the snow.
Snow's cold.
My God. That is crazy.
Love.
He basically says yes, no, and then snow is cold. Those are his lines. This is how he's wooing a woman with his sharp intellect. Come on.
And it works.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and then they smooch, and they smooch hard. And she's pretty smitten, but I think also like a little scared because of the feeling she's having. And also she's like a career woman who's like kind of rocketing up. Like she's like really the top of the field, and she's busy. Like she's got books to write. She's got funding to secure for her institution, like all kinds of stuff. She's a hot shot and can't have the submarine captain coming in and like ruining everything with love and babies. Get here. And so they head back in and they're like, okay, well, time to jet off to Egypt with John Carter over here. But all of a sudden, the Navy shows up and they're like, change of plans, because we get a little cutscene where we see a fishing boat. Oh no, was that a fishing boat? It was like some boat get totally owned by the octopus, and they kind of at the last minute
absolutely
they
destroyed.
Yeah, they call it in. They're like, "This is our position. We're getting attacked." Blah blah blah. And there's like some of they're able to find and rescue some of the people who are on the boat, and so the Navy's kind of saying like, "We'll get some ideas from the survivors once we find them, but you got to stick around because we don't know what this necessarily means. Your leave's been canceled." And they get some of the survivors in, and one of the survivors starts saying immediately like, it was a giant octopus. And they're like, you're crazy, man.
All right. He does not say that. This scene is so weird because he's like, it's the doctor who's examining him has a stethoscope, and it's got like the little parts you put in your ears.
Oh,
He's
right,
like,
sure.
This thing, it was like that. And he points at the stethoscope and he's like this? He's like, yes, just like that. And I was like, no, what? If you're going to tell me you are on a boat and you don't know what an octopus is, get out of here.
But then doesn't he admit it was a giant octopus in the very next scene?
Yeah, he does. Because then so they're like, we can't get him to say anything. I'm sorry, we don't have definitive proof. And Leslie is like,
Let me sex this up.
Yeah, give me a second. And she takes off her jacket, revealing totally bare arms. My God. And she walks into that room and is like, check out my arms.
Have you ever seen these before?
Yeah. And she's like,
So
Pair of
toned,
these
firm.
arms.
I've seen some crazy things beyond my bare arms.
Look
Have
at
you ever
them.
seen any?
They have like chicken goosebumps on them.
Yeah. Have you seen any crazy things lately? And he's like so amazed by her sex appeal at this point. He's like, yeah, I'm going to impress you right now with a little story about a fucking giant octopus. And she's turned on like the listening device, and the whole Navy's like, shit, now we gotta, I mean, obviously it's real. It's monster.
At first they admitted this dude to like the psych ward.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was like, yeah, we didn't see anything on that because we don't want to get admitted. And
Right.
so then they just get him to say what he said again. And now Navy is just full on, this is real. We've got it.
They're like, okay, 4 possible leads. 1, Australian swimmers. And they're like, sharks, get out of here. We're
Well,
not even
first
following
they
them
cut
up.
over just to, after he says it, they're like, yep, this is real. They just cut over to depth charging scenes. I was like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
get
they're
that
just
damn
like
thing.
depth charging random parts of the ocean at this point. It's not that big. Come on. See, just the Pacific Ocean.
We can find it.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, we got some leads. Australia. They're like, sharks, no big deal. Not it. And then what was the one that he went after? Siberia, something or other? There was something where John Carter was like, I'll take that one. But Leslie's got like a little idea. He's like, that's weird. Off the Oregon coast, there is they said that fishermen are complaining about like really bad yield of fish. I'm interested in that. They're like, would we really even send you out there? That's like a terrible lead. Like, why would you do that? And all of a sudden they get a telegram, you know, a sheriff's wife or something like that was killed by by disappearing off the coast or whatever. And they're like, okay, never mind. Let's put it to the top. You're going. And the submarine captain's like, I'm going too. And, you know, I think we were all thinking the same thing. We're like, whoa, first vacation as a couple? That's like a pretty big deal. That's like make or break right there. It was.
Because at first they weren't even really doing anything. They just went down to the beach and were like, he was spear fishing. Yeah. And they were all just getting hot on each other, smoochy.
Oh my God, lots of smooch. So much smooching. And she's kind of like, oh, is this dream ever going to end of us hunting a giant octopus together? Like, oh boy, like we'll eventually have to go back to the real world. Like I just can't even think about my institution that I've left in the lurch. And he's like, give me another smooch. And she's like, oh boy.
Just like that.
Yep. But then
just like that.
Yeah, but then because they saw also an imprint of a sucker from a tentacle, and so even John Carter's like, forget my part of it. This is clearly where things are happening. So he arrives, and the sheriff is like, you guys are crazy. Sea snakes, big old like octopus, that's nuts, whatever. And he like walks around a dune, and all of a sudden the octopus is there and totally munches on him. And so they scream. And they're like, whoa, it is here. It's time to like get into action.
To run away. They just leave.
Right. And so now they kind of have an idea of where things are. So then they're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to like, you know, mine off the coast or whatever. We're going to try to drive it towards San Francisco, where we're going to head up our headquarters. We're going to make the headquarters there. And we're going to like electrify the Golden Gate Bridge. We're going to set up a new torpedo system because they're like, you can't take out this octopus with just like a couple shots. You can't miss. If you go after the king, you best not miss. And so like, you got to shoot that torpedo directly in the octopus's brain and explode it, or else it's over. And everyone's like, okay, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And so they make like a special torpedo that's even jet propulsion, because they even demonstrate, they had a very scientific demonstration where they had like a balloon and they were like, this is the octopus. And the balloon like flew away and they were like, see? And everyone's like, okay, yeah, we need like a jet propulsion torpedo.
Yeah, and they instantly also are able to manufacture some new type of harpoon torpedo as well. That will drill.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. With the fun of it is now is like a torpedo, it's like a harpoon. Because she was talking to some old seaman. She's like, I was talking to some old seaman, and it made it a harpoon. I was like, oh wow, okay, scientists. Obviously, science. And so they're all set up. They're like, okay, the submarine's going to go down. And Leslie's like, I'm going too. And the submarine captain's like, no, you're a woman. And she's like, I'm a new woman, and also like, I can handle my shit. I'm good in a bad situation. You don't even know. Like, I'm good. And he's like, fine. Whatever. And so they all start doing their thing. Like John Carter's up in a helicopter, like searching around. They're like searching the waters, trying to find the octopus. While they're at the headquarters, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh shit, it's here!" Because it goes to the Golden Gate Bridge, and they're thinking, "Okay, we got to like electrocute it with this Golden Gate Bridge." And they flip a switch. It only makes it angry, and things go awry at that point. So even John Carter has to run out there and is like, did you shut that goddamn bridge off? Like, wasn't it, why it's still electrocuted? Like, come on. And they're like, no, we left it on. So he has to go out on the bridge and turn it off. But he gets trapped out there, and the submarine captain has to show how courageous he is and save him. So he's like super cool doing that. They're all like, okay, time to show our stuff. So the submarine captain's like, I got to do my duty, little lady. Smooches his lady, goes in that submarine with John Carter, and they go off for that final confrontation where they're going to totally own that octopus with that crazy torpedo they just invented. And the octopus is like climbing all up in San Francisco, and they're like, we got to get him back in the ocean. It's like climbing out of the ocean. How are we going to use a torpedo if it's out of the ocean? And so they're like, get the flamethrowers. And this is a really, a pretty cool scene of them trying.
Yeah, this is pretty intense, man. I didn't think that the flamethrowers were going to work.
This was awesome.
Or
how I didn't even know. Like, I was like, oh, flamethrowers, whatever. When they're doing flamethrowers, I'm like, okay, I can see why people are really interested in flamethrowers and why it's like part of pop culture and stuff like that, because those flamethrowers were effing awesome.
Yeah, they were. All right. Total side note. Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Oh,
Not yet. Was there a
Love
flamethrower
it.
in that?
Oh, the flamethrower in that. It's so funny.
don't spoil it. Don't.
Is it
Come on.
as huge? Like that flame went so far with these. I was like, that seems crazy dangerous. But they seem to have no problem like shooting this giant flame a million
Zach,
feet
the
away.
part I'm talking about, Zach, is the training. Remember that?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He's like,
Yeah.
He's like, is there? It's too hot. Is there any way to cool it down? Guy's like,
Yeah, but he, like,
it's a
freaks
flamethrower.
Yeah, it's a funny scene. In
Well,
there.
anyways, these flamethrowers were great, and then they drive the octopus back into the ocean, and so they're able to shoot the torpedo into the octopus. But basically, in its like rage, it grabs the submarine, and they're like, "Okay, what do we do?" And the captain's like, "Well, we explode the torpedo. If we can't get out of its clutches, we just explode the torpedo and die." And everyone's like, "Not ideal. What is another plan that we could do before killing ourselves?" And he's like, "I'm going to go out there myself. I reserve it. That's my duty. I'm going to go out there," which also is not true. Like the captain, I don't think would be the one that goes out because his duty is to captain the submarine. But I don't think. Someone could correct me. But anyways, he goes out in his swim gear and he like has like some plastic explosive and he like explodes the tentacle of the octopus, but it doesn't really do the job. The submarine's still trapped and he's like stunned. I couldn't even believe he's like still alive because he's stunned and still breathing through his apparatus and like whatever. So John Carter's like, "I'm up next." And everyone's like, "That's weird. You're like a scientist. Why are you going to be the one going out of an escape hatch?" But we just have to trust that he's also a scuba diving expert or something, even though he's a Harvard nerd alert. And so he like jumps out of the submarine. He goes over. Oh, and he explains like, "I know the weak spot of the octopus." And they're like, "Okay, I don't know the weak spot of the octopus. Like I would have guessed. Like what would you guys have guessed if you thought weak spot?"
Like maybe around the mouth area.
Probably the eyeball.
See, good guess because that turns out to be true. I would have guessed the testicles. Because I don't know if you knew this, but the octopus testicles are actually each of the suckers are a testicle. So he has many, many testicles all over his arms.
Well, the eyes have been said to be the groin of the face by some.
That's a good point. So anyways, he goes over and for a second he like checks on the in my mind, he goes over and checks on the captain just to make sure he's alive. He's like stunned on the bottom of the ocean. And I almost wanted to be like, oh, he knows the softest part of the most vulnerable spot of the captain too. And just like punches him dick while he's like stunned on the bottom of the ocean. It's like, no, I met the octopus. Yeah.
Who you think's who's getting
Leslie
the
now.
lady now, huh?
Yeah. But anyways, he goes up to the octopus, straight to the eyeball. And I'm like, well, that seemed obvious. You didn't need to be like a marine biologist to be like, maybe I shoot it into an eyeball. But he shoots the octopus directly in the eyeball. The octopus is like, ew. And like even like rubs his eyes with some of those tentacles. I was like, okay.
Wait, Jamie, make that sound again.
Ew.
Sounds like a shy guy.
Yeah. And so he's like, my eyeball. And then he lets go of the submarine. So the submarine's able to like move away. They're like, we can't save the captain. The other guy, hopefully they get away. So they scoot away and they push the button and totally explode that octopus. And they're like, guess they're dead, but we should probably check and see if they're around. They're like, yeah, we can't see them. Then all of a sudden like, oh, actually there they are. And they're just like swimming around. They get them back on the submarine. Everyone gets all together. They're like celebrating, like they're heroes, but no one really knows that they're heroes. And the submarine, they're like, okay, we got to head off to Egypt now. And the submarine captain's like, but I want to, like, what about a family? What about kids? What about all this stuff? And she's like, I'm an independent woman. I got to like deal with my university. And if you want to collaborate in a book, if you know what I mean, come along and we can do that. But that's how our relationship's going to be, baby. And so, yeah, I think they're going to get married and they're going to be like a power couple, like a crazy power couple. The end.
Wow.
There
That's
it is.
it.
And that's the story of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and how they met.
Spectacular summary there. That was the wrong sound effect.
Oh, no, that was for my Clinton joke at the end, probably. You're like, oh, no, leave them out of this.
That was not what I meant to. But here's because the movie was released in what year?
55.
55.
Here's some 50s jams for all you listeners out there.
Nice. It's a good 50s jam.
'50s.
All right.
Okay.
Jams?
So who wants to go first on doing a little rating?
I got it. I never go first.
Do it.
All right, I got Alex's first.
Clutch.
So
So
As
you
you
will
know.
continue to not go first.
you're right. Oh man, I just set myself up. So the gruesome gave this movie a 7.5, and he said the credits really wrapped the whole story together. So
I think that's actually not inaccurate.
that's gruesome.
Okay. What about Twosome?
I'm
Very
gruesome.
thorough.
All right, here we go, gang. The Zach review. Zach review. Was this movie good? Did Zach enjoy it? Will you enjoy it? Listeners, how will Zach's review go? What will we learn? What exactly is he doing talking so much? Well, listeners, Zach's review starts now. Hit it.
It's Zach's review.
Boom. Loving it. I think this movie was solid. Honestly, I think the plot's concise. It's your typical like monster movie plot. I liked the inclusion of the narrator. You know, I think it really added like that substance, that layer of substance to it. I liked those scenes. I liked the pacing in the scenes. I think the transitions were fun because you would see them talking, and then Kyle, I think you mentioned this, it would switch to the transition, which was just like a jet taking off, or the ship in the ocean and the explosives are just blowing up. And then you get
Right.
those sweet sunset views. And I'm like, these are good transitions. I loved, as a good monster movie should do, like the slow stride to revealing the creature, right? And I thought the stop motion animation was phenomenal. It was, the octopus legitimately looks really good, even to this day. I think it looks really good for what it was. The ending was something you would see in a mega monster movie today. It's just obviously different budget and technology wise. And did I mention the submarine saved the day? So what else can you ask for here, guys?
It was truly a submarine sandwich, if you think about it.
It truly was. So in review, was it good? Yes. Did Zach enjoy it? Yes. Will you enjoy it? Maybe. How will Zach's review go? You tell me. What did we learn? Not much. But why did it take so long? Well, you kept listening, didn't you? But overall, this movie knowing, you view this movie knowing what it is and the time period it represents. And with the decent amount of submarine action that was included and the fact that they saved the day, great movie. Good movie. Loved it. I'm going to give it a solid 7.
All right.
Wow.
I can jump in here. I actually want to jump in here. I think this movie was very fun to watch. I think the acting is quite wooden, but I don't think that's unexpected from a B movie. I thought most of the acting was kind of like cheesy in that fun monster movie way. I'm not like a huge monster movie fan, but this made me want to watch more of them because there is something pleasant about the very concise story and how they kind of move through it. And as you say, like chunks of this pretty predictable narration with like little transitions between them, and kind of added in, sprinkled in there as a little bonus is this creature special effects that I think puts this kind of a little bit above maybe the standard fare, just because it is one of those Harryhausen pictures in the end. I did find things amusing about that, which is always good. It is good to have ones where there is maybe some intentional, unintentional comedy aspects of it. So overall, I enjoyed my time. I wouldn't say it's like a great movie or a perfect movie or anything like that, but I was going to come in with, I was going to say 5.5, but I'm thinking maybe even a little higher, maybe a 6.
Boom.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ben, you want to go next?
Well deserved.
Sure. Calling me Ben over here.
No, I don't really do it. That's usually reserved for Zach.
I've
What does
got
that
that
mean?
tracked somewhere every time you've called me Ben on the podcast. It's only like 6 times, but with It Came From Beneath the Sea, I might be coming in the lowest on this. I'm definitely coming in lower than the scores I've heard so far. I wasn't a fan of this one. I didn't like the narration. It kind of seemed to take me out of the film. The suspension of disbelief. It kind of keeps pulling you out. Oh, like, oh yeah, of course this is a movie. Not that I was going to get that enraptured by it anyway, but I don't know if it was just like having On the Beach so on the mind recent here with that film being in 1959 and what they were able to do. To play with the audience's emotions and the storytelling that they were able to do in that film, compared to this was just so sterile. I felt like they just kind of set up this battle against the octopus, and that's really all the movie was. Like, I think everything else is going to be very forgettable. Even like a week or two from now, it'll be hard to like keep all of this kind of fresh in my head of what I had watched. I think this is going to be one I'm going to forget. The romance was so cringy, and I think wooden's a good term.
It was great.
Jamie. I disagree.
No, great and great in how bad and wooden it was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the wooden is a great term. I feel like the acting was very stiff and boring, and I don't know. This one just didn't have anything going for it. By the end of it, it was fortunately short. But I mean, all I felt like it presented was the stop motion animation, which is, always interesting to watch. I've never really been a big fan of it, but I mean, that was the tools that they had at their disposal. And I mean, they were able to accomplish a lot with that. There was some classic, submarine content and action, which is where I do feel inclined to give it some points. But ultimately, this is one of the least enjoyable experiences I've had watching a submersion film. I'm going to give this a 4.
Okay, and I just want to jump in just to say, like, I don't think these are really competing scores in the end. I think like a 6 or a 7 by me and Zach, and then your 4 is reflective of the type of movie we're talking about. Like, I think your 4 is nicely reflective of the actual quality of the film. Like, it is a B movie. Its acting is not good. It's not like the story is sophisticated or interesting. Like, I mean, it is what it is in the end. But it is representative of something that existed, which was these B movies, double features, monster movies, something that I hadn't really experienced before. And I do think it can be fun. If you're in the right mood for it, it can be fun to do it. It's very quick. You're not going to throw a curveball at you when it comes to the plot or the love story or anything like that. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Sure. But if you're in the mood for it and you want to see a giant octopus, whatever, I did think this was kind of fun in that way. But yeah, I could definitely see the 4. I think that's where, when it first started and the acting was so bad, I was like, this is going to be a 4. But then it rose a little bit as I watched it.
Yeah, and I guess my only counter would be there's just so many stop motion movies once you start to dig into it, and there's a lot that are even ocean related. It's a popular place for creatures to emerge from, apparently, but this obviously is one that had a submarine, so there's a lot that we'll never get around to watching. So I'd be hard pressed to believe that this is kind of in the upper echelon of creature features.
No, even something like King Kong has a lot of stop motion in it, the original King Kong, and it's pretty amazing. And that was back in the 30s. And then even the Harryhausen films, I mean, I think if you were going to pick one, it'd probably end up being one of the Sinbad films that he did. That's kind of representing like the pinnacle of his career. So this is hardly that. I mean, even from the scope of like what he did, this is really just an octopus. So it's not the same as when he's made a lot of creatures for different movies.
All right.
And that's it. That's all the reviews we have.
Yeah, right. So I was nervous because I thought I was going to be the only person who didn't enjoy this movie. You guys say it was short. This was like the longest hour, 20 minutes of my life.
Wow.
I don't know. I could not get into it. The acting was not good. Stop motion, like you guys had mentioned, was impressive for the time. But, I mean, I just kept thinking, not that long ago, I watched Gojira, the original Godzilla, made a year earlier than this film. infinitely better.
Well,
Even
actually,
in black and white.
that's something that I will say that I remember from King Kong versus Godzilla, which was that I feel like if you watch the original Japanese, you have this movie that's actually really good. Then you watch what America did with it, and they almost turned it into a B movie, and they basically made it like shit because they added on all these like weird newscasts and stuff like that. They just kind of like ruined the movie by being like, we got to Americanize this up. And this felt a little bit, you could definitely feel that in this.
Oh, you got it with the narrator. It's kind of like how when, like you mentioned in Godzilla King Kong, that was in the 60s, but, they had that whole UN thing, which, get real fired up about. Everybody loves that. We know that from Deep Shock that we're really big into the UN.
No, that lasted for like decades of them being like, fucking UN,
it's
right?
Like, what the hell? So acting, not great. There's a ton of the green screen use, which is fine for like some nostalgic factor, I guess. I don't know. You get some of those scenes, but all in all, I could not get into this. For whatever reason, that whole scene where the guy was describing the octopus and he just kept pointing to the stethoscope, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is dragging on so long. I just kept looking at the time and I was like, this is moving so slow for me. Not a movie for me. I love monster movies, but I was also thinking there's a lot that's ripped off of Godzilla here. And I mean, it's got to do with the times and the nuclear bombs being dropped on Japan. And people are like, oh, let's start making these movies about the fallout. I'd say go watch Gojira. Go ahead and skip this one. Now, between this and Deep Shock, I'm like, which one would I rather watch again? It'd probably be Deep Shock.
Wow, that's shocking.
But,
really?
I'm going to give this the edge due to the time that it was made and the stop motion animation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I would watch Deep Shock again before I'd watch this, but I'll give this an award for its merits and better sub content.
Yeah, one thing I did want to mention also is you mentioned Godzilla, but there's a lot also that seemed to be reminiscent of the reboot, the whatever it was, 2014 or whatever reboot of Godzilla, like taking place in San Francisco and like Golden Gate Bridge and everyone trying to get out of San Francisco. I was sitting there being like, I feel like I just watched this, like the rebooted Godzilla, and like they're waking up monsters with like who want to eat. Radioactivity. Like I was like, interesting. But I guess that's because all these were all tied up in the same themes. Godzilla and monster movies in general were all like nuclear themed. So.
Nuclear hungry beasts.
So what was your rating, Kyle?
Oh, I'm gonna come in, and then I'm like, man, would I watch Midway over this again?
Midway's great.
I'm going to give this like a 2.5.
Wow. Yeah, get out of here, Kyle. Yeah, we used to joke about putting Brom in the torpedo tube. Let's open that sucker up.
Put the captain in, dude. Let's get rid of this guy.
You got a mutiny soundboard over there?
Mutiny?
Yeah.
That's mutinous.
Sounds very good.
So are you ready for some love it or hate it?
Let's do it.
Hit it. Love it. Hate it. I'll let you decide which one's which. Number 1. Filming location trivia. This is by RN92251 from February 2005. Just a little bit of trivia. I was just a kid when this movie came out, and it was awful back then too. I recognize. I'm
liking this guy already.
I recognize the area where the sea was filmed. It was filmed at the Salton Sea near Riverside County in Southern California. The Salton Sea is nothing more than a barren wasteland where raw sewage from Mexico flows into the sea. The birds that fly over the sea have been known to just fall out of the sky dead.
Wait, sir, are you sure you aren't reading a review about the Salton Sea?
I kid you not. I have relatives that live down there, and they tell me that even the natives stay away from the Salton Sea because it is so polluted. The community that lives near the sea is made up of mostly just squatters and homeless people.
Jesus Christ.
Ex-cons, and a lot of drug addicts. I heard that the Salton Sea...
He gives us okay. We get it. He gives us Salton Sea 0 stars.
Was that
No, this is my favorite review. Let him finish.
I heard that the Salton Sea was at one time a thriving vacation spot for movie stars back in the 1940s. Hard to believe that now. 1 out of 10.
Oh my God, that was awesome. That was literally nothing but the Salton Sea review.
Thank you, RN92251.
Oh my goodness.
Where was that from?
2005.
Okay, wow. I wonder if they clean that shithole up yet or not.
Gotta look it up. Discuss it. Discuss it. Oh boy. Great classic film in 1955. This is by W.H. Pratt 1, July 2004. Greatly enjoyed viewing this film in the 1950s, and all the audiences were thrilled at seeing the sea monster tackle the Golden Gate Bridge and terrify all the people in San Francisco. This film cannot compare to the films being made in 2000. However, in 1955, it was a great B film and is presently and always will be a great classic. Kenneth Toby, who was a submarine captain, Body Shot, 93, gave an outstanding performance along with, how do you pronounce it again? Faith Domergue? The House...
We just made it up, really?
Domergue.
There we go. The House of Seven Corpses, 74, who was a beautiful young actress. It acted like a very strong-willed woman who was hard to charm off her feet. Unfortunately, Faith had a short career due to her struggle with cancer. This is truly a great classic film of the 50s. Enjoy. 10 out of 10.
I agree.
But did they know it was filmed at the Salton Sea?
I don't think that
if
guy
they knew
knew.
that, they would have been like, get out of here.
Right?
Yeah.
That's Salton Sea, dude. Yes. Ugh.
Oof.
It's kind
There's
of an
even a
ethical
movie just
dilemma.
called The Salton Sea, which
Yeah.
we might have to watch.
Yeah, I'm interested now.
So what season is Salton Sea films?
The Salton
Well,
Sea.
short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have about 7 films.
Oh, good. Short
Also
season.
featured Grand Theft Auto 5 and a Michael Jackson music video.
That music video is going to be a great episode. People are going to love it.
We got to get that guy to be a guest host with us.
Oh, boy.
I assume he'll just rate every movie like a 1.
Yeah, we might get canceled after one episode.
Just going off on the Salton Sea. Be like,
Yeah.
what?
All right. Should I get into some trivia?
Let's do it.
And get ready. It's real trivia now. It Came From BBC was released as the top half of a double feature with Creature with the Atom Brain. Now, I do want to just point out Creature with the Atom Brain. Quick synopsis. American gangster Frank Buchanan forces former Nazi scientist Wilhelm Stieg to create zombies by resurrecting corpses to atomic radiation in order to help him exact revenge on his enemies.
You've mentioned that on the show before.
Have I? I don't know. Probably. So the question is, which ultra-famous actor got his start in B films, appearing in a number of Roger Corman films, including the original Little Shop of Horrors?
Who is Rick Moranis?
The original Little Shop of Horrors. I'll give a little hint. He also, this all happened before breaking out in Easy Rider and then getting his first starring role in 5 Easy Pieces.
I don't know.
His name is Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson. He was in B movies for a number of years, actually, and was in 5 or 6 Corman films and wrote a couple of them even.
All right, we got to give our Jack Nicholson impressions. Kyle, go.
Hey, it's Jack here, and
That's pretty good.
here's Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm Jack Nicholson.
Handle the truth.
Oh.
He's like, I'm Christian Slater, you know? It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
All right. The title was inspired by Universal science fiction hit It Came from Outer Space. And Schneer had been impressed by the effects for the beast from 20,000 Fathoms and hired Ray Harryhausen. And he said, I don't think I could have made that type of picture if it hadn't been able to get Ray to do the special effects. The effects budget, however, was getting out of hand. And so Sam Caspian only allowed Harryhausen enough money to animate 6 of the octopus's 8 tentacles. So 2 were taken out for the final shooting. And he named the giant octopus the Sixtopus. And for scenes where a single tentacle is seen moving up and around the bridge superstructure, Harryhausen used a single large model tentacle instead of the entire animation model. And so Harryhausen served in the Army during World War II in the Special Services Division under Frank Capra. What film have we watched in Submersion that depicted that unit? Frank Capra was actually a character in the movie.
He was a character in the movie?
Or
Is it
may
like
not.
Up Periscope or something?
It may or may not have been mentioned already on this episode.
Up Periscope, then.
Nope.
Down Periscope.
You just mentioned it not that long ago. You were
Godzilla.
saying,
Gojira.
would I watch this movie again?
Midway.
Midway.
Remember, they were filming in Midway, and he's like, get that shot. That's Frank Capra.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so that was the same. That was the unit that Harryhausen worked in. He was a cameraman.
Gotcha.
That's
So
neat.
presumably he would be in that scene. He'd be the cameraman in that scene with Frank Capra. Potentially.
That is neat. Nice.
So this is the film that brought together Scheer and Harryhausen. They went on to actually make a large number of films together. Clearly Scheer was a fan of his, and their relationship would last until Clash of the Titans in 1981, which is the final feature for both of them. So the last movie both of them made together, Clash of the Titans. So Clash of the Titans was remade in 2010 with Sam Worthington and was such a hit that it even got a sequel. What is the name of the sequel?
Oh, shit.
Wrath of the Titans?
Very good. Wrath of the Titans. Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans. Both qualify.
Did that one actually do well? Clash of the Titans
did,
in
yeah.
2010?
Apparently it did amazing.
Seriously. I mean, I really like the original. I really like that one. But
Like the stop motion animation one?
yeah, with the owl and all that stuff. And they did
Yeah.
like pay a little homage to that in the new one. It was funny.
Is that the really famous one that had the skeletons and all that? What movie was that?
No, the skeletons. You're talking about like
That's-
the Harryhausen one with skeletons?
Yeah, it was like stop motion with the skeleton fight.
No, I think that was Sinbad because
Okay,
then that
Sinbad.
was kind of redone for what was that Evil Dead movie? Well, whatever. It was like the Evil Dead one.
Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness, yeah, they kind of played off of that, and they did stop motion skeletons as well. But that was from Sinbad. And then I think I may be wrong actually. That may be Clash of the Titans. Anyways, so the submarine in this was the USS Kubera, SS-347, a Bulal class submarine. So what kind of fish is a Kubera?
Kubera.
It's like a barracuda,
Nope.
an eel maybe.
No.
Gotta be some sort of a fish, right?
Yep.
I win. I did it.
No.
Partial credit.
It is a snapper. You can actually if you Google Kubera, they're huge, or at least pictures of people who caught them. They're gigantic.
Shit.
Like a red
No joke,
snapper?
that's what I was going to guess. I'm like, that's just a stupid guess.
And then it was later sold to Venezuela and renamed the Tiburon. What's Tiburon in Spanish?
Tiburon.
Shark.
Oh,
Good one. How do you
Yeah.
know that? Are you like a fluent in Spanish?
Because of the car, man. The Hyundai Tiburon.
Yeah, man.
It's got a shark fin on it.
Tiburon used to be a sponsor for a NASCAR game I used to play. They had a track called Tiburon Raceway. I think it was NASCAR 2004. Yeah.
Can you get them to be a sponsor for us?
Let me look them up. I'm on it.
All right.
There was
And
a
then-
Need for Speed game where you could drive the Tiburon and trick it out.
Oh, man. It used to be like the car, you know? That
Oh,
and
yeah.
Nissan Skyline. Get those cars, check those out.
It's Tiburons.
That's right. It was NASCAR
Why?
2004. Tiburon. Yep.
All right. I'm going to jump into Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
All right. I like to go through the leading men or ladies of our movie. So our leading man, Ken Toby, is actually in another submarine film. It's called Captain Fathom, a 1955 TV movie. Looks pretty rad. Robert Sampson is in that film, and he's also in Up Periscope, starring James Gardner, which we have obviously seen. And so we know we can go from there all the way to our boy Ed Harris. I also wanted to mention that our leading lady, Faith Domergue, was discovered by reclusive billionaire Howard Hughes, and she was actually in a relationship with him. And as a result, she is portrayed in the film The Aviator by Kelly Gardner, who is also in the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh.
Kind of crazy, right?
Scandalous.
A weird connection to what we're talking about. It's funny, too, because this mirrors Ed Harris's career trajectory. He was also discovered by Howard Hughes. And they were, they had a relationship, he was portrayed in The Aviator by Leonardo DiCaprio, which made it was weird when they had like the makeout scenes between them, because they had to use like split screen special effects for it. And that's in the end why it won the Oscar for best visual effects.
Amazing.
But actually, I should be clear. It's the only time they ever awarded this Oscar. It was visual effects. It's with an A, not an E. Visual effects, because it's the award for giving the most emotional effect to people through a visual medium. Because people were so like turned on by Ed Harris being played by Leo DiCaprio, making out with Leo DiCaprio.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that scene?
No, I might have to go rewatch that tonight.
Well, to jog your memory, what's Ed Harris? Where would Ed Harris have been good in this movie?
I don't even want him to stain his career with this movie, man.
Ouch!
Whoa.
What about the octopus?
Whoa, hot take.
What about that puss? Octopus, I mean.
Ed Harris as the octopus. I kind of like that.
That would be good. Just his head, and then you remember that
Claymation head, Harryhausen.
You remember that like monster that Sid in Toy Story made, the baby doll with all the arms? I imagine that, but it's Ed's head, and then all the tentacles out and about.
Ed came from beneath the sea.
Oh, now we're talking.
Zed's dead, baby. What movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Bam!
I was actually, what's funny is I was just watching a movie for Bad Movie, and it had a preview before it, and it was Man on a Ledge. Did anyone ever see that? And Ed Harris is in that.
I've heard of
it. It's crazy because it seems like he's a bad guy, but I know he never plays a bad guy, so they must have a twist in the middle of it where he turns into a good guy.
Now, I think my wife wanted to see that because that has the lead from Sons of Anarchy, and I can't remember his name right now.
Charlie Hunnam?
Yes.
As who? Like the main character?
Yeah, right? And Man on Ledge?
I don't think so.
That doesn't sound right.
Kyle's wrong.
I think it's is it not Sam Worthington?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Sam Worthington.
Is Charlie Hunnam in that movie?
Let me see. Jamie Bell's in it. Edward Burns is in it.
Nope.
Is she a huge Edward Burns fan? She's super into Anthony Mackie? She's just like really into Elizabeth Banks?
I don't see Charlie Hunnam in it.
Not at all. So, don't know what I was thinking.
You're thinking 50 Shades of Grey.
Come on,
Before
Kyle.
they recast it. No, before they recast it.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking
Anyways.
King Arthur. She was like right. She was thinking King Arthur.
You're thinking some shitty movie. Actually, it was in Pacific Rim. That was a good movie.
Yeah, that is a good movie. Monster movie.
You're thinking The Ledge.
The Ledge.
Yeah, that sounds like right.
Okay.
Right? Man on Ledge. But then The Ledge.
It is okay, so he is in this movie, The Ledge.
Yeah.
I watched
Anyways,
Bowling for
the lead in
Columbine
that.
thinking it was a bowling movie. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was something else.
So this movie has Terrence Howard, Liv Tyler, Patrick Wilson. There's people in this movie.
Wow.
All right.
That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. Usually we would do subs worldwide right here, but I want all of you listeners to know we have been hard at work getting a website up and running, so it's in the final processes now. Before we make it live to you, should be up sometime next week. We'll announce on our next episode when it is live. So look for that. If you try to buy the domain too late, I already bought it, so can't undercut me here.
Gotcha.
So, look for that.
And discuss it on our subreddit.
Yeah, what do you want to see?
What do you want? What do you think it's going to be like?
Yeah, what do you want? What do you want from us? What can we give you? All right. That's all I got for that. Brom,
What about sub news?
does anyone have sub news?
Yeah, I posted a link. We got sub news. Whoa. This is from BreakingDefense.com. Pandemic hits Navy's new nuke submarine program. Work on the missile tubes for the Navy's part of the nation's nuclear triad is months behind schedule after Babcock was smacked hard by the pandemic.
Pandemic's smacking that cock hard.
The new nuclear-powered Columbia-class submarine. It was struck by the COVID-19 virus. Workers' absences at a critical supplier have delayed construction of its missile tubes. So they are now months behind schedule. So they're trying to reclaim the time. So large-scale work, on the 12 of these that are planned, the 12 Columbia-class submarines, is slated to kick off in 2021. And they hope to deliver these submarines, you guys guess.
2026.
2026, I also guess that.
Ben?
2027.
2030. Just in time to begin replacing the Cold War era Ohio-class subs.
Wow. That long, huh?
Yeah, these subs will carry 70% of the warheads allowed by the new START treaty with Russia. And if you listeners out there are big Metal Gear Solid fans, you'll remember that the START treaties were spoken about in Metal Gear Solid frequently. So there, we just connected real news to submarines, to submarine news, to the podcast, to Metal Gear Solid. Bam.
Amazing.
Only on this podcast.
You still have that Solid Snake soundboard?
I'm Snake. No, I don't.
That series is on my playthrough list. I need to get it done.
You done any of it, Kyle?
I used to play Metal Gear Solid and the VR missions like crazy on PS1. Those were the best.
Yep.
Did you ever play Acid?
What?
Did you ever play Acid?
No.
I loved that game on PSP. Metal Gear Acid was awesome.
Tons of great Metal Gear games.
It was a card game.
Different podcast.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Man.
Let me know when you get to Snake Eater, Kyle. Literally probably the best game in the franchise.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I picked up like the HD collection on Amazon.
Then there you go. I think Snake Eater's
during
on
the
there.
pandemic, why not?
Yeah.
So.
Snake Eater is phenomenal. Like, it's just ridiculous. So good.
All right.
Is that going to feed into your countdown with like top ever Metal Gear Solid games?
You got it.
That'd be amazing.
Nice. Nailed it.
Just waiting on Kyle.
2-3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give it to me.
All right, so for tonight's countdown and Mega Monster Movie Month, as I mentioned earlier, kind of during my review, there's kind of a bit of a formula with how these film names were generated. It came from beneath the sea, it came from outer space, and it came from 60,000 leagues under the sea or whatever. All these different weird names.
It came. That was
it came.
Probably one of them. It came.
Could be. A little crass, but maybe. So what I did is I actually made this week for my countdown, I made a movie name generator, mixing various prepositions with various different geographical locations. And I spit out a bunch and I picked out my favorites. So these are, and since it's Mega Monster Movie Month, I have 6 I'm counting down, not my typical top 5. So I'm going to run down my top 6 movie names that I generated, and you can let me know if you would go watch it, and maybe if you can speculate on what the monster would be, you can we can all chip in here and start to write these scripts. A24 Studios, get at us if you're interested in any of them, and we will be happy to sell. So number 6, It Came Out of the Hill.
Okay, so you're saying you generated this yourself?
I generated these myself.
Okay, it came out of the hill.
Yes.
Like an ant? Are we talking about an ant?
Ooh, I kind of like that. I didn't think of
I
that.
immediately thought like hills have eyes type stuff.
Me too, Kyle. Literally, that's where my mind went.
But if we're doing monsters,
It doesn't have to be a mega monster. It doesn't have to be a horror movie.
Like a termite hill.
oh wait, it doesn't have to be a monster movie.
It doesn't necessarily have to be.
It Came Out of the Hill, the Osama bin Laden story.
It's a good one.
I was thinking it could be something with Capitol Hill.
Oh, like a bill. It's a bill on Capitol Hill.
It's about some bill that like ruins the country or something. I don't know.
I'm just a bill. Yeah, I'm just a bill. And I'm sitting on Capitol Hill.
That was very good.
We now owe like a whole bunch of money.
I don't think it was close enough that we need to worry.
It's more like a spoof.
Yeah, parody. Number 5, It Came on Behalf of the Atoll.
The what?
The Atoll.
The atoll. So like, it came on behalf of the atoll?
Yeah.
So you like a peace convoy from an atoll that the U.S. is going to nuke, and then we have to kind of settle the dispute.
There you go. I think that's more creative than what I would have came up with.
What did you come up with? Did you have something?
I didn't have anything for that one, no. Maybe if there was like a lost tribe or something, and they sent an emissary or monster or something.
Yeah, it'd be like what's that? Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. In this case, they go to Washington to try to get kind of like, money because their atoll was destroyed by an atomic bomb.
Yeah, there you go.
Or it could be about the how bikinis kind of like the fashion wave across the country of bikinis, right?
That's true.
The name of that comes from the Bikini Atoll. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Very topical.
Very, very clever. I could just make up these, and you could make movies out of them.
We're just churning it out.
We could start our own little small business. Number 4, It Came from Underneath the Plateau.
Underneath the plateau. Huh. It's kind of like a hill. Came out of the hill. Is that not the same?
It's pretty similar to the hill, yeah.
But it's underneath the plateau.
It could be
like it could be
something desert, yeah.
Yeah, it could be more like a Western in that case.
Like a scorpion.
Giant snake.
Or like a big spider. Like a mechanical spider, maybe? Because I feel like I'm really into like the idea of a mechanical spider. And maybe we could... I'm in talks with Will Smith to star in it.
And
so
Chris
we'll see how that
Klein.
works out. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Oh, no, I wasn't in talks with him yet, but now that you mention it, he'd be a great sidekick.
Number 3, It Came in Accordance with the Geyser.
Came in accordance. So what? Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Accordance. Can you like use that in a sentence?
Like
accordance
in accord, like a conclave. It came together or with or
geyser?
coinciding with the geyser. So when the geyser erupts, it came out. It came out. Yeah.
It dissolves a buffalo. What?
A turtle.
Like a turtle was stuck
from
in
a geyser,
and then it launched the turtle.
So the new Super Mario Brothers film, maybe
Koopas.
Interesting name for the new Super Mario Brothers. It came in accordance with the geyser. I think people get confused.
Also good to mention, I was very proud of my countdown last week, so only natural that I got a pass this week to make a really shitty countdown.
I think this countdown's great. I'm having a grand old time.
At least someone is. Number 2, it came by means of the peninsula.
Okay, well, we could talk about it. Could be a Florida thing, like because like Florida's
Gator,
like a big old, big old peninsula. But if you're talking about like a tiny little peninsula, and I guess it depends because I come from a place where they kind of call peninsulas like capes. Could it be a cape?
Cape was
God?
available. I didn't roll a cape though. I rolled peninsula, so we got to roll with the peninsula.
What's a good peninsula? Like Michigan?
Oh yeah, you got the UP.
Upper Peninsula.
Upper
Could
Peninsula.
Be Yeti.
I like that. Upper Peninsula. That's what we're going with. Yeti. Yeti movie. Upper Peninsula. What do they call them? What do they call Upper Peninsula?
Youpers.
Youpers. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, maybe
Yooper
it comes
Yeti.
down.
The
Maybe it
Yooper
comes
Yeti.
down to the mitten.
Youper Yeti.
Nailed
and
it.
maybe it comes down to the mitten, and it's like putting a new meaning behind the murder mitten, and it's like a Yeti that just tears through the whole.
Let's
I
take
like
it.
that.
How is it getting over to the mitten? It's got a boat.
Mackinac Bridge, man.
Oh, okay.
Just like
I didn't even
wreaks
know. I
havoc
didn't
like crazy.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm showing my ignorance. I didn't even know there was a bridge.
Wow. Well, I used to live in Michigan, so
Yeah, I had no idea.
you got to know about the bridge. There's a little island out there you can go and get some fudge, and that's about it.
And
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
That's the big thing, man. Mackinac Island fudge.
Great.
And finally, number 1. This one actually sounds like the most like a movie, and that's why I awarded it the number 1 spot. Pretty happy with this one. It came behind the waterfall.
Oh, well, I mean, that's who hasn't, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what like.
Yeah,
This is no monster movie unless the monster is a person, right?
Right.
Yeah, ideally we got the from behind, but I rolled behind, so
feel like
not
it's-
perfect.
It's a coming of age story.
God.
Coming of age story. Yeah, that's the tagline.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, that is my top 6 movies with that I generated with my preposition and location generator.
Wow.
Thanks for sticking with us through all that.
Best countdown you've ever had.
To wrap up my talk and segment tonight, if you want to tune in for next week's episode, our movie next week will be Atlantic Rim, finally. I've mentioned it at various points on this podcast. We are finally watching it. You can watch along, watch ahead, whatever you want to term it. It is available for free on Vudu with ads. Vudu is the Walmart streaming service. Also available on Pluto free with ads. So check it out, Atlantic Rim. It is a asylum film, I think, spoof or whatever you want to call it, mockbuster of Pacific Rim. And it looks hilarious. I hope it is. But that concludes my segment. Let's pass it over to Twosome with some Zach facts.
Hit it.
Play it.
Zach facts, it's Zach facts. When you're going down, get some Zach facts when you're going down.
After that big roll up and that ding, it almost seems like a letdown, right?
It was such a huge letdown. I thought for sure there'd be a gong or something, so I had to
There's
use.
got to be something.
I clicked just letter reveal real quick.
Letter reveal.
Oh man. Oh wow. Okay. So this week on Zach Facts, we're doing the film It Came From Beneath the Sea.
Yay!
Okay. Fact number 1. The miniature submarine used in the film was recently sold at an auction for $376 million.
Whoa.
The buyer ladies and gentlemen and germs, was anonymous. However, he did give his initials as E.H.
No flippin' way.
And if you
Ethan
check,
Hawke.
if you check
Elon Husk.
Ed Harris's Instagram, which is Ed Harris 69, there is a picture of him playing with a small submarine in his treehouse, and it was posted recently.
Whoa.
He hangs out in a treehouse.
Yeah,
Obviously.
he calls it the Ed Harris house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I thought you were going to say maybe NC, because this is something I would definitely...
This would be him, dude.
I mean...
He would buy this.
That's-
He would buy it.
For that much money, yeah.
If only. All right. Here's a quick fact for you. Who likes quick Zach facts?
I love them.
Here's
I
a
love
fast
all
one.
Zach facts.
Here's a fast one.
Good. Yeah, me too. I love all that.
Here's a fast one. Fast one. Here's a fast one. Fast one. In order for the ending octopus explosion to look real, they had to tie 48 real octopuses together and blow them up.
Whoa. PETA would not stand for that nowadays.
No way.
No, they would not. That was called shock. Last fact for you,
I
which
was
is
shocked.
oddly enough, Ben, this is kind of right up your neck of the woods. Did someone say spinoffs? Which one of these three titles were actually made? Title number 1, It Came From Beneath the Couch. Title number 2, It Came From Beneath the Toilet. Or title number 3, It Came From Beneath Kyle's Foot.
All right.
My gut would be it came from beneath the couch, but I kind of think it's funny that it came from beneath Kyle's foot got mentioned. So I'm going to actually go with that.
I think it's toilet.
I think it's none of the above.
And here's the Zach fact for you all. They all are real.
Seriously?
So I guess that means none of them are real.
Thank you for listening to Submersion. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating wherever you listen. Want to interact with us? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also love to get messages from all of you. If you have a suggestion, a comment, or just anything you'd like to share, please email us at macestudios@gmail.com.